So, welcome to the last part of our three-part series on how to design a beer for a small brewery, namely Azerbrew. So, we've looked at a cream ale, then we did a saison. Both of them came out just the way we really wanted them to. The beers were selling, and now we're going to change things up. Now we're going to get really adventurous and see how this local population takes on a sour beer. And what I'm going to do is we're going to take some inspiration from the Flemish part of Belgium, and we're going to brew a Flemish red. And we're going to cheat because we are going to kettle sour. Kettle souring is pretty much the process of mashing and lautering as usual, and then simply leaving the wort to sour naturally or by adding cultures, which will give you a lowered pH as a result. This is a very simplistic overview of it. If you want more information, just have a look at our Castle support video for more information. Our recipe is as follows: 50% Castle Pale Ale malt. As usual, this is always the star of the show, just purely for its versatility. We have 15% Cara Ruby malt. Cara Ruby has a fantastic toffee flavor, and it is wonderful at giving the beer that beautiful bright red color we're really after. 5% Castle Crystal malt. Castle Crystal is the darkest of our crystal malts, besides our Special B. This one really gives a bump up to the malty character, as well as giving it a darker color without actually giving any sort of roast flavors. We have 30% wine must concentrate. That is so we can emulate the vinous character that this type of beer usually has through bacteria and barrel aging. But because we're not doing that, we're doing a kettle sour, we have to emulate it another way. And we want 8 IBUs of Hallertau hops. This is just enough to stabilize the beer. And finally, we are going to be using Fermentis K97 yeast. K97 is a wonderful yeast for creating fruity flavors, but more on the lines of apple and other deciduous fruits. So the final result of all of this mixing and mashing and waiting and souring, behold, this beer is considerably sour. You know, we left it up to a pH of between 3.5 and 3 during the kettle souring process. And what that really creates is an incredibly tart beer, which is personally fine. I like it. That's my personal favorite. However, if you don't want it that sour, try and aim between 4 and 3.5. You know, 3.5 is actually the point where it becomes really, really sour. So if you're not into that, or you don't think that your customers will be, try go that way instead. But the beer pours, you know, the Cara Ruby malts and the crystal malts from Castle have created a genuinely nice, warm red color in the beer. You can see from the crystals that the crystal malts that we have a nice rocky head there. Oh, and the yeast has done its job. There's actually a little bit of funk because when we soured it, we just let it sour sort of naturally in the kettle. We didn't really add a culture. So there is a little bit of funk to it, which I personally really enjoy. The truth is in the way it tastes. So let's have a look. Definitely initial impression of caramel. There's a lot of fruit present in this beer. Obviously due to the grape must that we've added. The acidity cleans the palate though. It really, it's alive when it's in your mouth, and it shuts completely when after you've swallowed. So it makes this beer infinitely drinkable. And I tell you what, I bet you everybody that comes here is gonna want one of these, and it's gonna sell out like hotcakes or cold beer. If you guys have any questions, please let us know in the comments, and please remember to click subscribe and the little bell button on the corner. Every time when you release a new video, you guys will be notified and we can have some brewing fun again. Nice. Thank you so much for watching Designer Beer. We'll see you next time here at Castle Malting. Cheers.
My feeling about the Castle Maltings that we've been using in the last 3 brews, I'm pretty impressed. I have had very good results with my ales that we've been making. I've had a very good response from the customers saying that my beers are extremely good, which makes me happy, and I'll probably keep using Castle Maltings in future.